Welcome to my channel Film Recaps. Here today, I am going to explain a movie called Summertime. Delphine is a country girl who is passionate about working on her family's farm. As usual in the countryside, her father wants nothing more than to marry a man. But she has a secret reason why she doesn't want to get married. Your heart already belongs to someone else. Woman. The one who broke up with her within seconds and said he would marry her soon. On her way home, Delphine is approached by Antoine, her farm boy and her childhood friend who has a crush on her. Antoine asks her to go with her to her upcoming dance, but she only vaguely answers. After another hard day of her work, Delphine closes her barn and she goes off to think alone. In the next scene, she is already driving somewhere. She goes into a small room and happily goes out onto the balcony. Later, it turned out that she was in Paris. She just ran away from home and doesn't have much of her belongings, so she can't even afford decent food. They even have a way to clean themselves only through a small sink. As she walks down the street, a group of women start spanking all the men. One of them is caught and beaten up, so she comes to her aid. She takes the bus with them. There she learned that they were activists fighting for women's rights. And hitting men on the buttocks was also part of the fight against ignorance. Delphine soon finds a job as an office worker, but boredom hits her every time she is in her apartment. For this reason, she quietly and secretly attends conferences held by activists. When she was in 1971, women were being treated terribly unfairly. That's why her group is formed to fight only for what she believes is right for women. Carol, who recently helped Delphine, is one of her outspoken volunteers. After meeting, they go to a pub and the two talk about their jobs. Delphine is punished for not getting Carol, a Spanish teacher, the right job and has to attend the next meeting. Then we find out that she is already part of the group and is currently preparing for another activity. This is an interruption in a doctor's speech against abortion. After some time, Delphine formed a close bond with the group, especially Carol. As she prepares for her reunion, I hear her voice behind me. This means that she sent Antoine a letter telling him about her hectic life in the city and her admiration for Carol. Her group gathers at Carol's house. As soon as she entered the door, she learned that Carol was already having an affair with a man named Manuel. Apart from fighting for women's rights, they now focus on contraception and abortion. So when Adeline talks about plans to rescue her gay friend from an asylum, some of them, including Carol, express dissent. Thanks to Delphine's witty words and teasing of Manuel, Carol changes his mind and decides to support Adeline's plan. Diverting the attention of prison officials and following Delphine's rise, they successfully break into the place and rescue the man. The location is off the beaten track and quite far from the city. As a result, she temporarily evacuated to her friend's aunt's house. Inside, Delphine and Carol were spending their time alone. While smoking weed together, Delphine talks about her own home. And at night, she changes her subject about her mother. She says she has no pay, no health insurance, no checkbook even though she works full-time. And she won't be asked for her opinion every time a decision is made on her farm. Carol is happy to take action on this issue as it is exactly what they are fighting for. However, she is stopped by Delphine because she doesn't want to reveal her family's problems to everyone. A sleeping Delphine is awakened by Carol, who is looking for her new roommate because of Adeline's loud snoring. Lying flat on her bed, Carol explains that her farm cannot be left alone and invites Delphine to take it from her father. But Delphine replies that she never said she wanted her father out of her farm. When she answers, Carol tells her he is a chicken and they both laugh. Thinking they understand each other, Delphine kisses Carol, but Carol wipes her lips in disgust. So Delphine throws her out of her room, upset by her actions. In the morning, they return to the city separately. And at the next meeting, Delphine no longer wanted to participate. Missing her, Carol comes to a place of work and explains why she acted the way she did. She says she's not a lesbian. Delphine, she replies that neither does she. But after just a few seconds, they became isolated and started kissing. They go to Delphine's apartment and start making love. Carol returns home and looks at Manuel, who feels guilty about his unfaithfulness. When the next activity comes, she tries to ignore the dolphins. However, this does not last long, and eventually she gives in to her own desires. This is the second time she has fallen in love with dolphins. And when she gets home, she simply confesses to Manuel her ongoing affair. The next day, she thinks it wasn't a big deal to Manuel, as he smiles every time they converse. However, when she was told to sleep elsewhere, she realized he really thought so. However, Carol ignores Manuel's feelings and continues the relationship. And for a few days, she lives with Delphine, after which she shamelessly goes home to rest. One day, Delphine receives a telegram urging her to return to her country. From her mother, she learned that her father had suddenly collapsed from overwork. With no male relatives and only one child, Delphine has no choice but to take over the farm. She informed Carol of this, who said he would follow her immediately. Delphine agrees, but she tells him not to comply immediately. Delphine's words make Carol depressed, and she is comforted by Manuel. Delphine goes to work on the farm as soon as the next morning. And now that she's her CEO, she's taking advantage of it, because she keeps a share of her and her mother's income and arranges for her mother's health care. One afternoon, she comes home from work and hears the good news that her father has finally woken up from his sleep. After she makes his favorite food, her mother takes her to the hospital. She didn't come because she had other plans. The theme is getting to know Carol and spending private time with her. They make love non-stop while tending the cows and kiss non-stop while dinner is being prepared. They are unaware that they have already been captured by Antoine. When Carol comes home from her weekend with Delphine, Manuel already knows about their secret trip. She is reprimanded for her willpower and her dedication. Meanwhile, Delphine comes to terms with her father's unhappy state, those who no longer have the strength they once had. The good thing is that she has Antoine by her side who helps her out, like Carol, who is still trying to be understood by Manuel. A few days later, after Carol breaks up with Manuel, Delphine asks her mother's permission to let Carol live with her. Her mother, Monique, when she finds out that the woman is just her former colleague in Paris, without a second thought she agrees. Delphine picks up Carol at the station. During the drive, she tells her that she will be in a separate room because she hasn't told her yet. Her mother still talks about their true relationship. Upon returning home, she introduces her to her father. Carol says hello, after which she continues her meal. Seeing the glances they both gave each other, Monique became suspicious. She asks Carol about her job and learns from Carol's answer that the two are not actually former colleagues. After the lights go out, Delphine sneaks into Carol's room and flirts with her, then sneaks back to her room at sunrise. During breakfast, Carol surprises Delphine and Monique by also waking up early to accompany them on their farm work. She becomes an instant friend thanks to Monique's hard work, words of admiration, and her bright personality. Monique already has an idea about their relationship, but she lets it go and pretends she doesn't notice. She focuses only on her farm and her husband, who is now in poor health. Carol meets Antoine at a campfire party attended by children and young people. She tries to have a good conversation with him, but she is just rude. Later that night, she and Delphine went home together and slept in one bed. When I woke up in the morning, I realized that Delphine and Monique had gone somewhere. She takes her time riding her bike, enjoying the tranquility of the place, and even chatting with Delphine's father. She confesses that she didn't come to the country to make hay, not because she's enjoying a land vacation, but because she wants to be with her daughter. Carol becomes jealous when Monique expresses her desire to marry her daughter to Antoine, and she resents that Delphine has not yet told Monique about their relationship. Delphine reconciles with her by helping her with odd jobs and pretending to be clingy to her. They show affection to each other as soon as they reach a secluded road. They continue this for a while, oblivious to the man approaching them through the same road. When Delphine sees the man, she immediately lets go of Carol's hand and leaves in a hurry. At a farmer's rally to celebrate his newly purchased machinery, this man addresses the leader. Delphine is terrified that he is going sip about her. To protect her honor, she kisses Antoine in front of everyone. However, Antoine refuses to use him as an alibi, and he ends up telling her that he saw him and Carol kissing. He left and Delphine followed him out of fear that she might tell everyone. Antoine was disappointed and angrily told him not to worry and he wouldn't tell anyone, because she was too dear to him. Delphine feels miserable and she turns to Carol for her comfort. In the end, the two end up embracing each other naked until late in the morning. And it's already late, so Monique catches her in that state. She opens the window and slams the door to wake them up. Carol makes fun of what just happened, but Delphine is seriously worried. Putting on her clothes, she gives her mother an embarrassed look before getting to her business. While she is out, Monique is already trying to kick Carol out of her house. Carol first tries to reconcile with Monique. However, after hearing some insults and aggressive slaps, she finally decided to leave. She informs Delphine that Monique has kicked her out and is about to leave. After some thought, Delphine decided to follow her. They happily board the train and wait at another station for the next train to Paris. However, it will take about an hour before the next train arrives. In this short time, Delphine changed his mind. She told Carol that she wanted to be with her parents. Not wanting to take her word for it, Carol waits for her on the other side of her phone. She hopes she will come, but in the end, Delphine really chooses not to go. 5 years later, Carol was working as a safe abortion doctor's assistant. Her patient asked her why she didn't take her advertised birth control pills. She replies that Carol doesn't have to because she lives with a woman. She's just a friend. While they are talking, Carol checks her email. One of them is from Delphine. She is said to have been unable to leave her parents' farm when Carol was still around. A few years later, she became successful and had her own farm. She also states how much she regrets not showing her courage at the station. And finally, she shows her love for Carol. Carol smiles as she reads the letter, and in the final scene she appears as Delphine staring at the sky. The movie ends here. Subscribe for more videos, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel. Thank you for watching.